Are we witnessing the end of the Brady and Belichick era?
No. We saw that last year in the Super Bowl. That was the end of the era. I mean, look, does Brady still have ice water in his veins? Yes. That's never going anywhere. That's why he's the GOAT. Mm-hmm. Does Belichick still prepare his team to the point where he can rely on the other team basically beating themselves? Yes, that's why he's the GOAT. Does Josh McDaniels still scheme everybody wide open so no one has anyone within 15 yards of them? Yes, that's why he's a great offensive coordinator. But the Patriots dynasty, meaning year in and year out, they're going to be a Super Bowl threat, was over the moment that Brady went around Belichick, because Brady was always okay with Belichick's lack of sentimentality about everything and his very sober analysis of everything and trading guys a year too early rather than a year too late. But when Brady saw the succession plan for him, he thought, went around Belichick and went to the owner, and Robert Kraft undermined the GM, who's also Belichick. Once that happened, there's now no succession plan in place. There's no one on the team that can take them forward. And when I said last year, or a year and a half ago, Brady is on the cliff, he's heading for the cliff, I said he was going to be a bum in short order. I came out the next day, my second show on this show, and I apologize for saying that, not only because I don't like to name call, but it was hyperbolic. I didn't mean a bum. I corrected myself and said he's not going to be an elite quarterback anymore. Mm-hmm. The Brady that you know and love is not going to exist. He took it right up to the limit, but this was the year. It couldn't happen. And sure enough, a good argument could be made, and I would make it. He's not a top 10 quarterback right now. I think I could name 10 guys. Wow. Of course, 2 or 3 of those guys you might argue, but guys, Brady's always an MVP candidate. Mm-hmm. When was the last time Brady wasn't an MVP candidate? Is he an MVP candidate right now?
No.
He's not, guys. He's not. So would it be the end of the Belichick-Brady era, the dynasty? Even if Brady was declining, the answer would be no. But now there's no all the other quarterbacks. Jimmy G is gone and hurt. Brissett is gone. There's no succession plan in place. This is it.
You're wrong. And the reason why you're wrong is because this ain't the day to make that argument. The fact of the matter is the New England Patriots lost yesterday, and it had very little to do with Belichick, and it had very little to do with Brady. When you look at the New England Patriots, and maybe I shouldn't say it had very little to do with Belichick, because when you have 14 penalties for 106 yards, that is very unpatriot-like. So that's a reason to be alarmed. But when we talk about dynasties, let's be very, very clear. If we're talking championships, as far as I'm concerned, the reigning Super Bowl champions are the Philadelphia Eagles, not the New England Patriots. But obviously, that's not what people are alluding to when they're talking about something being dynastic. They're talking about legitimate title contention. And the fact of the matter is the Patriots are still in the mix. They could still very likely end up as a top 4 team in the National Football League. So it's not over. Not only that, the succession plan that you were alluding to as it involved Jimmy Garoppolo years before Jimmy Garoppolo arrived. And even after he arrived, nobody was really thinking about him for the first couple of years that he was in the National Football League. There was no succession plan at that particular moment in time in anybody else's eyes. It was Belichick and Brady, and as far as I'm concerned, they're still there. Now let's get to what we witnessed yesterday. First of all, I want to give my Steelers props. I couldn't believe what they pulled off. I was blushing yesterday. I could not believe it because I didn't think they would be able to pull this off. But this kid, Jalen Samuels, and I don't recall any time in his career, collegiately, prep, NFL, I don't recall anything that this man has done. Did he have over 100 yards a game? No. Did he have about 19 carries? No. But he had both yesterday. 142 yards, average 7.5 yards a carry, was running all over. The Patriots. The New England Patriots got beat up. Their defensive line got beat up. Their offensive line got beat up because the Steelers were applying pressure to Tom Brady all night long. You combine that with the pre-snap penalties. Talk about the Patriots killing themselves. Who would have ever thought that the New England Patriots would score 3 points in the second half? Who would ever thought that outside of the blown coverage where 3 defenders followed Josh Gordon and just forgot about Chris Hogan, who was the most open receiver in NFL history when he scored that 63-yard touchdown, he scampered 63 yards for a touchdown yesterday. Who would have thought that that was the last touchdown that the New England Patriots were going to score? But that is what happened yesterday. And so, in summary, I just look at it this way. I saw Sony Michel as the only weapon for the New England Patriots. I saw a Rob Gronkowski who has religiously torched the Pittsburgh Steelers. Last year, not only did he catch about 9 receptions for 168 yards, Brady went to him 3 consecutive times on a game-winning drive. This dude was held without a catch for the first 3 quarters and a third, and then he only had, a couple of catches on the evening. You know, whether it was Hilton or anybody else. The bottom line is the Steelers completely neutralized Gronk. They neutralized those receivers. The Patriots were beating themselves with penalties. That, to me, is not about Tom Brady. It's about everything around him.
Let's go with that point for point. First of all, Pats can't stop the run. That's why they have their who would have been their third-string running back, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's third-string running, and Samuel's running all over the place. I'm not taking anything away from him, but the Pats can't stop the run. They have a slow defense. Been saying it all year. That's one. Two, Warren Moon talked about reaction time. Warren Moon, the only quarterback who at age 41 was any good ever before Tom Brady, because Tom Brady still has value. No one else has at this age, really, at this level, said just the reaction time slows, and he can see it in Tom Brady. How does that manifest itself in this case? Well, usually I say, well, Belichick lets the other team beat themselves. And you said, well, look at all the penalties. That's un-Patriots-like, right?
Which is why I brought up that maybe Belichick has got to be accountable because 14 penalties.
No, I'm addressing that. So let's look at what happened toward the end of the game. We were all feeling the same thing. The Steelers don't go for it on like 4th and 1. They opt to kick a 8-yard field goal. And that made sense, make it a 2-score game. But what was everyone thinking? Watch him miss it. He's going to miss this field goal. That's the type of stuff that happens for the Patriots, right? For that, you might as well go for it. You're going to be in the same position anyway. Sure enough, he misses the field goal. And then what happens? The Patriots get the ball back. It's a 3rd and 16. The Pittsburgh defense playing very well. And there's a PI call. It's one of those PI calls that it wasn't really going to affect the play most likely, but it goes against Pittsburgh, 1st down for New England. What happens later on? 2 Pittsburgh defenders run into each other. I don't even think that was the Hogan blown coverage. I think that was a pass.
No, that wasn't.
That was a pass to
No,
I'm not saying
they
you're
didn't
saying
run into
it was,
each other. Right.
But I mean, they're blown coverages, guys wide open, Pittsburgh defenders running into each other. It all set up in a way where we're looking at Pittsburgh. They're going to, as usual, it's set up for Tom Brady to win the game. Did he win the game?